You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
She's Claudine Cooper, the best exercise lady. On Wellness Wednesday, the best exercise lady. She will teach you all there is about wellness and fitness. And as her motto says, your short workout is better than no workout. Oh, better than no workout, baby.
It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. And, of course, it's Wellness Wednesday. Claudine Cooper joins us in studio. It's great to see you, Claudine. And let's get right to it. We talked about wellness within the context of working out and living our lives in a day-to-day fashion. But what about this idea of wellness-centric travel, where people are disconnecting, they are leaving their phones behind as best they can, traveling to places where they're not enjoying the trappings of modern lifestyle to somehow reset and recalibrate themselves. It seems like now we have wellness integrated in every form and fashion of our lives. It's not just going on a vacation, but a vacation which is wellness focused. Where would you come out on that?
Well, here's my question. Do you work out when you're on vacation?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I definitely work out every time I go anywhere. I look for the hotel gym. I look for classes in the area. I definitely look for ways that I can move my body when I'm traveling. But I read through the article that you sent, and I feel like we're seeking to get grounded or to go do yoga out of the country. Why can't we do it right here?
Maybe at Iconics or something.
I mean, we do it at Iconics for sure, but what about just getting outside in nature? What about connecting with the sunlight? Now, granted, I am fully aware that there are people who live in neighborhoods where it's unsafe for them to go outside. So I want to hold space for people who can't actually go out and experience nature because of where they live. But I don't feel like we have to necessarily take a trip on an airplane to experience the benefits of putting our feet in the grass, our face in the sunshine. What the article said, resetting our connection with nature. Why do we have to fly away for that?
And I think there's something that would be, for me, depressing is about the only word I can think of. If you spend these thousands of dollars to go to this exotic location and the plane trip each way just burns you out. So when you come back, you feel as if you've had no vacation at all. I try to avoid spending a whole lot of money and putting so much pressure on a physical location to make me feel better about life.
Oh, but now we're veering off in the direction of people who actually live their lives to wait for the next trip, the next vacation. You and I are one of the rare few people who wake up every day with a zest for life, excited to go do the job that we believe we were created to do. But for many people, the joy that they find in travel comes from the fact that every day they're going to work at a job that really just maybe doesn't fire them up, but they get their bills paid. You know, I've been there too. You know, they get their bills paid and it's not horrible, but it's not great. And it's not making them feel like this is what I live for. You and I, we probably go on a vacation and be ready to come back to work. Tell the truth.
Yes. Vacations can be too long.
Same. And as far as being on the plane for many, many hours, I also feel that there are health challenges involved in sitting on a plane for many hours. A lot of people have to wear compression socks. There's a swelling that happens when you're seated for hours and hours.
Get blood clots if you're not careful.
Exactly. So me personally, if I'm thinking about finding ways to recreate or reconnect with nature, I'm going to find ways that are closer to me in proximity. What are some ways in Southern California that we can reconnect with nature without having to get on an airplane, pay thousands of dollars to be in a wilderness retreat?
It's interesting you say that because with the exception of 4-H when I was growing up, I was not one of those big outdoorsy people. We went to Joshua Tree, we would camp, but that's not something I would do as an adult. We were just talking about a story yesterday about how city of Los Angeles is 90th out of maybe 100 major cities as far as parks. In other words, we live in a very urban environment, and it doesn't lend itself to that. So these are issues on top of issues as we try to find that place to disconnect in this world, which is just full of electronic connections. I don't know if there is an answer.
Well, here's a few tips for anyone who's trying to reconnect with nature and you live in an urban area. There are still ways that you can adjust your lifestyle so it's not dominated by screens and by noises. So here's a few things that I do. I make sure that when the sun is up, my drapes and shades are also up. That's allowing natural light to come in, and that's also resetting your circadian rhythm. Meaning, when the sun comes up at, let's say, 6 a.m, if you're up, that's when you lift your drapes and shades or open your blinds,
Absolutely.
right? That's one of the things that spoke of in the article, that we are disconnected from our circadian rhythm, meaning we go to bed at these odd hours, we sleep at these odd hours, and as animals, which we're just like a regular animal, we need sunlight. Our body needs rest, it needs water, and it needs sunlight. I mean, are we a plant or are we an animal? But you know what I'm saying.
No,
right?
absolutely. We need all those things. And sometimes, not that we need to be watered like a plant, but we need to be tended to consistently. And part of that is also how we treat ourselves.
It is. Another way is if you even have a small patch of grass, let's say like for me, I don't have a big yard. I definitely live in an urban area, a concrete jungle. I live next door to a football stadium. So it don't get much more concrete jungle than that.
Will they let you play on the field? No?
I've asked.
Okay.
I said, let me have
really?
some yoga. Yeah, I sure have. Like, let's have a yoga class. I think eventually
You have some connection to the NFL.
It's coming, right? But I say that to say you can use a small patch of grass, take your socks off, take your shoes off, place your bare feet in that small patch of grass, and you are connecting to the ground, also called grounding, sometimes called earthing. And there is a direct benefit to your health by placing your bare feet in the grass or on the ground, not necessarily the concrete, but.
A viewer, Daryl Sexton, on our YouTube channel says, do like Die Hard. When you get to your destination, make fists with your toes. I don't know if that's the same thing. If you've
Same
ever seen
thing.
that. Okay.
We hear you, Daryl.
When we come back, I got to let you know about Claudine's weekly free workout, which is going to be this Saturday, and I'm going to be there. So you get to see me fall out, pass out with Claudine, and she puts me through my paces at our free community workout. We'll tell you about that next. KFI AM 640, YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI is Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. You can come join Motown and then be amongst the Mo Migos, as they're calling themselves. I didn't name them that, but that's what they're calling themselves. If you want to be a part of the show in the YouTube or the Instagram chat, joining me right now as we continue our conversation is Claudine Cooper. You can always go to ClaudineCooper.com and find out what's going on with her. But a part of what's going on with you, Claudine, tell us about this coming Saturday in which I'll be joining you.
Well, every Saturday at 9 a.m. in Inglewood, there's a free workout. And, we just do calisthenics, body weight conditioning. There's no equipment needed. There's no mats
Outdoors.
needed. Yep, it's outside. There won't be any feet in the grass because we have no grass. It's just on a basketball court. You wear your tennis shoes, something comfortable, and you just come with a positive attitude and a willingness to exercise. It's all levels. It's families, it's elders, it's children. Everybody comes.
You'd have the times that I've been, this will be my third time. You have anywhere like 100 to 200 people. Am I wrong?
You are correct. I definitely have a big crowd. I never know. So here's something kind of crazy about being in fitness, Mo. And I think, people get caught up in numbers these days, but when I've been teaching classes, sometimes I've had 5 people show up. And then sometimes I have 500 people show up. But because there's no registration, I have to have the same energy for 5 that I have for 500, right? And because I love what I do, I hope that it does translate for 5. But I remember a time when, do you remember this? When the gyms used to just tell you, hey, the aerobics class is at 10 a.m. on Monday.
Right.
And then people would just come at 10 a.m. on Monday, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not like that anymore, guys. You got to hear what they do now. Now you have to reserve a spot.
It's like Disneyland?
Literally. So check this out. No, I got to tell you because it gets real crazy about booking these spots. So the booking tool opens on a certain day. So let's say
booking tool.
Yes. And it's not just our gym in Inglewood Iconics, but it's all gyms. In order for you to get into the class that you want, you have to have your phone. You have to have the app. You have to book the class, reserve the space. So listen to this. Now, look, you told me to big up myself if there's something I want to share. So I teach Pilates in a heated room. My Pilates classes sell out in 30 seconds.
How many people is that? Roughly?
30 people can fit in the room.
And if I'm paying my money to the gym and I can never get into the class I want to get in, is there any type of recourse?
Well, that's why I teach so many classes, because I'm trying to accommodate the morning people, the night people, the lunch hour exercisers. So I do my best to work as much as I humanly possibly can. And then at that point, I usually will tell people, hey, someone might drop off. Just come check and see if you can get a spot. And usually they can. But I really miss the days when the class was at this time. People just show up when the class starts and it's first come, first serve.
Okay, but is there any penalty? Let's say I signed up for your Pilates class and I don't show up.
You are penalized. We charge a $10 no-show fee.
Okay.
That really snatched people up real quick. They stopped doing that. Now they come. It's also an accountability tool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because people don't want to pay that $10. I will say this though, Mo. Technology has helped in so many ways. One of the ways, obviously, is now you know how many people are coming to your class, because if it books out, it's saying this is how many people are coming. But for my outdoor workouts, I like to keep it old school. Whoever comes, comes. Whoever can come, will come. And on that style of training, it opens me up to new connections, new people. I don't have a list to go from. I just welcome everyone who wants to move their body on a Saturday morning.
I want to move my body on a Saturday morning. I'm going to join you and maybe 100 to 150 people at the Inglewood Hollywood Park Retail District. Very quickly, let's explain how they should get there, where they should park, and how they can find us.
Well, at this point, most people know where SoFi Stadium is, which is a good point of reference, but the actual parking garage is on 97th and Prairie, and we validate the parking. There's a farmer's market. You can see it from Prairie. It's kind of like tucked in the basketball court. So once you get out of the parking garage, you just walk through the community and you'll see us. It's a big crowd. You can't miss us.
All right. Do you have any specific plans for the weekend, or are you making it up as you go?
I like to freestyle on the weekends. I work a lot Monday through Friday. I just taught a class before I came to see you, and I sat in 90 minutes of traffic. I do want to say that. I normally don't have to. It's usually like somewhere between an hour to an hour 15. But today, I don't know what was going on the freeways today. I ended up sitting in traffic for 90 minutes, but it was well worth it because I got a chance to see you guys out here, and I love my KFI family. So
just letting you know, I'm going to be out there with Claudine on Saturday. If you forget all this information, you can go to ClaudineCooper.com. But I would love to see you, especially if you're in the chat. Come out and work out with us. It's a beautiful experience because you're outdoors. It's a different experience outdoors as opposed to indoors. And it's a nice way for me to reset. I need to change up my workout from every now and then. I've done this Hapkido tournament for the past 3 months. I need to change of pace, and this is going to be my change of pace. I'd love to see you out there. And Claudine, you can go ahead and whoop my ass again, like you always do.
He always says that, you guys, but I want you to know that Mo is very athletic. I've never seen him fall out. Maybe he had to catch his breath a couple of times, but that's all par for the course. Everyone is allowed.
I pace myself.
I was just going to say that.
I don't start fast out the gate because I know it's a long way to go.
I always tell people, please work at your own pace. We are all on a journey. Everyone's at a different place on their journey. There's no pressure to go super hard or super fast. So, yeah.
But man, we have this ego thing. We can't have the 65-year-old woman running past us, and that's going to happen on Saturday. Let me tell you.
Death to the ego. I do got to tell you one thing, though. Woo. Yeah, I got to tell you one thing. There was one woman, and she was in the midst of chemotherapy, and she came out there with barely any hair, and she just whooped everybody. And I said to myself, girl, you are a beast, because she was going toe to toe with me every move. So I say, go at your own pace, do your own thing. But if you can't push yourself, why not? ClaudineCooper.com. I will see you on Saturday, Claudine. And also, please give out your social media. I am Fit with 3. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I'm pretty much on all social media platforms, but I did go private on Facebook because the trolling got out of control.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me.
You know, I just said, you know what? I'm going to stay public on Instagram and TikTok, but I am going to go private for Facebook.
Always good to see you. I'll see you Saturday.
Always good to see you too.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, it's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. And it's happened again. Some idiot decided to get an animal, a wild animal, and try to domesticate it as a pet. And it ended horribly. In fact, a man tried to get a hippo, and it was killed by the hippo. Now, this guy, Marius Els, who was 40, an army major from the Free State province of South Africa, he took in a baby hippo calf and, according to the story, treated it like a son. That was mistake number 1. It's not a human. It's not a pet. Marius Els was bitten to death by the 1.2-ton hippo who had the name of Humphrey. And this was not the first incident with Humphrey. So there were repeated chances for them to de-pet and let this hippo roam in the wild. According to news reports, there have been several signs the animal would never be able to be domesticated. In fact, there was an incident where a 52-year-old man and his 7-year-old grandson, had to climb a tree to get away from Humphrey when they canoed through the section of the river on Els's farm where Humphrey lived. According to the story, Els had to tempt Humphrey away with an apple, while the people were rescued by paramedics. Els's wife, Louise, a pharmacist, had also expressed her concerns as the hippo had caused trouble before. It had chased golfers on a nearby course and killed several calves belonging to Els's business partner. If you didn't know, hippos are said to kill more people every year than lions, elephants, leopards, buffalo, and rhinos combined. In other words, they are known to kill people frequently.
See, now you never saw this in the outtakes to New Zoo Review. Henrietta, no.
I look at the game Hungry Hippos differently now.
Absolutely.
How do you look at that differently? That's about hippos eating nonstop.
They're hungry for human flesh.
Yes.
Did you ever play that as a kid? Hungry Hippos?
Everybody did.
Everyone did.
Well, I don't know. It's this new generation. I don't know if they even play games anymore.
Well, it's pretty low tech.
Well, kids nowadays, they didn't know the competition of watching your hippo devour more marbles than your competition. That should have let us know how angry and evil these hippos are.
Yeah, the marbles symbolized human heads. We didn't know it when we were kids.
We didn't. Since when did we ever start thinking that hippos could be a pet?
Well, they are cute. You have to admit they're cute.
Are they cute?
Especially the baby ones.
Here we go.
If you want to win the game, you gotta take good aim and get the most marbles with your hippo. Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos. Hungry, Hungry Hippos.
Hungry, Hungry Hippos is the name of the game, and whoever hippo gets the most marbles wins.
Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos. Hungry, Hungry Hippos.
I win!
Hungry, Hungry Hippos from Hasbro.
That kind of slaps. Kind of.
It does.
You know, it's
The Hungry Hippos thing.
yeah. I mean, look, if we've talked about it now, someone had a pet crocodile, eaten, pet lion, eaten, pet hippo, eaten. There's a common refrain here. You cannot have certain animals as pets, ever, under any circumstances. They are not meant to live with you. You're not supposed to live with them. It doesn't matter if you had them since they were, a calf or a cub.
Yeah, a rule of thumb is if at some point an animal could kill and eat you, it's not going to be a good pet.
Yeah, I don't think Riley or Benson are going to be able to eat me, so they're okay.
I was never worried about that with my kitties. About the worst they were going to do is leave a little Tootsie Roll around.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never really connected the dots there with the fact of how fierce those competitions were when you play Hungry Hungry Hippos with your friends.
Yeah.
It's based in science. They're killers.
Wow.
They are killers.
That makes sense.
They're known to be ill-tempered, just in
Yes.
general, against other animals. Other animals don't even go into the water when they're there.
I saw.
yeah.
Did you ever watch Wild Kingdom growing up?
Oh, yeah. Marlon Perkins always sent the young guy in to do the dirty work. Marlon stayed in the boat.
Marlon always stayed way back.
Yeah.
So you make sure there's I'm going to sit here and narrate from afar, real far. And I always thought Mutual of Omaha was part of the show because it was always Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom.
Well, it's an insurance company, and I'm guessing some of their premiums were for people who were eaten interacting with animals.
I actually do think that was part of how they got connected to the show.
Yeah.
And it was Sunday night. I don't know if it was before or after The Wonderful World of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was before, but I would watch it. My mother would have me take a bath and then put me in my pajamas, which just came out of the dryer, real hot. And then I sit in front of the TV and watch this.
In the wild kingdom where death is swift, life depends on a design for survival. Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is presented by the company with coverage for everyone, Mutual of Omaha.
There it is. Good times as a kid.
It really was like
From Chicago's famed Lincoln Park Zoo, here is Marlon Perkins to lead our investigation of designs for survival in the Wild Kingdom.
Hello. I'm glad you could join us on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. You know, almost all animals are designed for survival. This little lion cub is no exception. He has several ways of defending himself.
Why is he holding the lion's
In case of
cub?
danger, he might try to just run away from it. Or he might just crouch down in the grass, hoping that danger wouldn't see him and pass him on by. Some animals insist on carrying their hiding places right along with them. Box tortoises do that, like the one there on the tabletop. He has his head and feet out now, but when I come close to him, he's going to pull them in and
Not
hide
a
in his own
sophisticated
shell.
digital
Watch.
operation. It's all analog, one camera.
Is the lion just sitting there in the background?
No, he's carrying it like a house
Right
cat.
up as soon as we come in close. And you can have fun with a box tortoise. You've never seen one before.
No, you can't.
You can't see this, but the lion is eating the box tortoise.
And box tortoises come from North America. But he's a pretty... Oh, little lion cub. Come back up on the table. Here we are.
It's not a pet, Marlon.
wow.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mo Kelly. Live on YouTube, Instagram, the iHeartRadio app. I've never worked at an amusement park. I don't know if I would want to, because it destroys all the magic. You know, you get to see the rides when the park is closed. It doesn't have the same type of feel. It doesn't matter if it's Disneyland, Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm. But when we talk about the evolution of our economy and how people may fight for jobs to pay a certain wage, think about those people who work at amusement parks. We've talked about how performers at Disneyland wanted to unionize depending on their position. Keep that in mind when I tell you this. Six Flags is cutting 135 jobs at Knott's, Magic Mountain, and other California parks. But they're offering these employees the opportunity to continue in a part-time role or be paid out and also have some sort of severance and separation package. What do we always say? And this is where Mark and I usually agree. What do we always say? If there's an opportunity for big business, corporations to get rid of people, they will. And we talk about automation. If there's an opportunity to somehow get rid of an employee and their benefits, this is about getting rid of employees and or their benefits, moving them from full-time to part-time, they're going to do it. So simply just asking for more money, simply just unionizing is not going to protect these jobs. Big picture.
Well, this also goes into the continuous conversation we have about the inability to avoid the advancements of AI. A lot of these jobs, especially working within the theme parks, can go away if you simplify the control system by which all these rides operate. And you can have one person who may work a few hours who, instead of having all these people are doing all the checks and systems and all that, you just got one computer that says the ride's good to go. And Bobby can sit at the one control booth and say, all right, here we go. And then you're off. Well, that's also something that, you know, is part of the bigger conversation.
And I don't know if these theme parks are moving in the direction of having these monstrous rides anymore. I think they're going to be more like the simulation rides that you'll see at Disneyland, like Star Tours, where it is much more about a simulation, almost like a flight simulator, as opposed to a fully built out roller coaster, which takes up many acres, and you need a number of people who are tending to it, to your point, Tuala, as far as the maintenance of it, the checks of the ride from day to day. Think about how often those rides are usually down for one reason or another.
Well, and this is also weird, because even though they're laying all these people off, they've done all this consolidation, when you look deeper into this, they're about to spend over $1 billion over the next 2 years to your point, increase attractions, i.e. meeting places and areas where young people can hang out. But they're also trying to put in more rides. The land is finite.
Yes,
there's only so many rides you can put in. They have to move towards alternate forms of rides. It can't just be roller coasters.
Yeah. And this is going to impact Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Vallejo, and California's Great America in Santa Clara. I've never been to Great America. Has anyone?
I didn't know that existed.
No, I didn't know either, but I'm saying I've never been. Mark hasn't been anywhere. He hasn't done any of the theme parks in
I don't
Southern
get out
California.
much, no. Sorry, kids. It's just a Hall of Presidents from now on.
I know you haven't been to Disneyland, but...
No, I have as a kid.
But nothing in the past 10, 15 years.
No, I'm an adult.
Here we go again.
Were you there when Uncle Walt was there?
I'm not that old, you swine.
Oh, wow. Got real personal. But this is... did you hear the story? And I'm just going off the top of my head. Someone can find it. They had shut down one of the rides at Disney World, the Star Wars ride, because it kept breaking down. I don't know if it was Smuggler's Run.
Was someone on it?
No. They ended it all together because it kept breaking down, and it's one of the new Star Wars rides.
Oh, like shut it down
permanently.
Wow.
At Disney World. And I think the story broke today. I wish I had it in front of me, but it's relevant to this one. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Iconic Disney World attraction closing very soon. That was this.
It's a Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
How much I know. Disney World, Star Wars,
Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance. That's it. And they're shutting it down altogether.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
The Empire won.
Sure did.
See, I don't know. See, right now it's saying that Space Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain don't hold up, and those are going to be put on hold for a while.
I was reading that they were shutting down Rise of the Resistance for good. It says I'm just saying that's what is being reported.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm looking that, and it's saying that once Beloved ride that are closed forever. There's a bunch of different things about them constantly closing and reopening things for just rebuilding.
Okay, well, maybe
No. I mean, but if Rise of Resistance, that doesn't make any sense. That's the best and biggest ride there.
I know
that's one of those, like, no, that's impossible.
I'm seeing on Reddit that it was closed 302 days in 2022, which was over 80% of the year. So apparently it's prone to break down, and if you stick with the teacups, you don't have to deal with that.
The teacups from 1965.
yeah, just stay in the teacups.
I'm wondering, like, how did that ride last for that long? And I have been on the teacups. I'm just saying, what is the allure? What is the attraction at all?
The children vomiting, I think.
That would be about it.
Pretty much. Now, talk about have an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I can skip for the rest of my life. Do they still have the submarines at Disneyland?
I don't know, but I remember that. I went on that when I was a kid. What was it? The Nautilus? The
yeah, no, they
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
turned it into
it's
Nemo.
Nemo? Okay.
And it's horror. Pure horror.
Really?
Trapped in a can. And I don't know how deep you're going, but when they seal that thing shut, you feel the terror of being trapped in a damn tin can.
Yeah, it is not
the entire time. All I was doing is screaming on the inside, "Get me off of this hellhole!"
Yeah, it's not for claustrophobics.
Oh, Jesus!
You're like, elbow to elbow with the person next to you.
Yes, and when they
it's really like on 15 feet of water.
No, look, when you hear this, that. As they're closing that
in the hatch,
and it goes clunk, clunk.
All the bubbles.
You're like, nah, man.
Did they modify the ride so that it was like the Titan submersible, and you're all supposed to pretend you're billionaires about to get crushed?
That is very inappropriate.
I'm just quoting the news.
People
Don't
die
blame me.
horribly, quickly, but horribly.
They certainly did, and they paid good money for it. Lots of money.
KFI AM 640. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app.
You can listen to KFI everywhere, like you haven't noticed.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio.